Hi, I'm Rachael, a mom of 3 kids, Alex, Richie, and Ethan. We decided to leave our home country in the USA to travel the world, starting in Chiang Mai, Thailand. Join us on our fun, crazy, and average everyday lives while we journey around the world.
Travelkatzfamily.
Hey guys, this is Alex, and today I'm going to do a how-to video on how to draw different types of manga styled eyes, ranging from little kids to more older people, and different like personality type of eyes and stuff to show personality in the characters. And first I'm going to draw a shonen eye, which is like a more of a young boy type eye for like children and stuff. And first you draw, it's like you make a big arc because little kids generally have bigger eyes. And have eyelashes, so you want to add, depending on the gender, different types of eyelashes. I'm doing a younger boy eye right now, so I'm just going to make it lightly have eyelashes around the curve of the eye, of the upper lid, and then you color that in to your liking. A lot of people don't color it in with pencil, they usually use pen, but I like when I draw on pencil to color it in. And that's one eyelid. And then you want to make a bottom lid right under there. Kind of a little bit curvy, but less curvy than the top lid. And then, since it's a younger child as well, you want them to have more of a bigger iris to match the lids of the eye. And so you draw more like an ovular shape. Doesn't completely fill in the eye, but yeah. It's round and ovular and generally has a look of like child innocence and stuff like that. So then you want to have like a light shining kind of. They usually put these bubbles on the inside of the iris to show light and stuff, and then right next to that, kind of like under, like the light overlaps the pupil, and you draw another more ovular shape underlapping the shine of the light, and then you can color that too, however you want. And there's one shonen eye. A lot of people also add shading to show that there's a darker part in the eye, and then you shade it a little bit more gray right there. Kind of like it kind of looks like a Pokeball, the inside of an eye. Okay, and then of course you just do the opposite reverse on the opposite side. If you want to make a female child's eye, then you could it could be the same, but most of the time females have a couple eyelashes added. So this would be a general male or a young boy eye. And then to make it a female's eye, you would add a couple eyelashes. There you go. And then you just color it in to match however you drew in the lashes the first time, and now it's female's eye, girl's eye. Okay. Next up is, I guess I'll do more like an older person's eye. I'll draw male first, of course, this time again. And if you want them to have a more intense look to them, like more stern or like long-lived look, I guess that's what you would call it, I don't know. But just to make them look more serious or sometimes I guess it makes a character look irritated, but you draw more of a straight line on the top and then down on the edge of where the bottom lid and the eye and the bottom lid and the top lid would meet. Go that way. And you do kind of like a little indent right here, kind of like a C, like the curvy part of the C, to show like, I don't know, where the inner part of the eye is. And of course then you make a bottom part right here, not as long but a little bit more curvy and shorter than the top part of the eye. And it really depends on how intense you want the older person to look. Like you can give it a smaller iris or a larger iris depending on, like, if you want them to look more grumpy or whatever. I'll just draw more of a medium one, I guess. Let's see. And then, of course, give them a little light in the eyes, not as much as you would the younger child. And then a pupil. Of course, this, since it's a smaller eye on an adult's body, the iris in the pupil would be smaller than the child's eye. And you color that in. And you can add shading here too. Not as much though, it would be smaller because it's already supposed to be a smaller type of eye. And you shade that in a little bit lighter than the pupil. And there you go. It's it looks more like someone who doesn't really care that much. Or is like, whatever. And that's an older male eye, from what I draw sometimes. And let's do an older female eye with a similar look over here. You would make it practically the same on the top, maybe a little bit more round, a little bit more curvy and round on the top. And then do the same thing with the edge, the outer edge of the top lid and the bottom lid. And then the same thing on the bottom lid as well as you did before. And do that little half C thing on the inner lid, but this time you want to add more of an eyelash on the outside. Make it look more feminine, maybe make it look like they're wearing makeup or something. And then you just add eyelashes. Yes. Maybe some bottom lashes too. And maybe not have the iris on the top, but more toward the bottom, but still rounded and smaller than a child's eye would be. Have the light, and then the pupil. Color that in, and the shadow. Shade that in, and there's an older female eye. Now let's move up. Those are all three of the eyes. So a child's eye, an adult male eye, and an adult female eye. Of course, you can choose to put the iris and pupils on either one where you want them to be. You can even make the lids more closer together too, depending on how aged you want them to look or how more intense or distressed you want them to look. And let's see, in a lot of shoujo manga that I've seen, a popular style is for teenage girls, especially in the shoujo manga, is really big. It's sort of similar to the child's eye, but it's like way bigger and more detailed. I don't usually draw that type. When I first started drawing manga, I drew that type kind of. But now I don't, but I still know how to draw it, so I'll draw that. And just like how with a child's eye, you'd make it really big and curvy on the upper lid. And maybe like make it kind of messy. I've noticed that a lot of mangaka kind of like scribble it right there, like a bunch of arcs together, and then add some eyelashes for a female shoujo eye. Make that a little bit longer than the eyelashes. And then we do the under part. It's like a lot smaller than the upper lid. The under lid is a lot smaller. And then you make even more so bigger than the child's eye above it. The iris, huge. Not quite completely touching either lid either. I don't know why they do this, but it works. It works for the type of design and the characters and stuff. Let's see. They put the light just like anybody else. Sometimes, a lot of the time, they put multiple lights. So like there'd be another one right here, and there'd be another one right here, and there'd be smaller ones like that, and then there'd be a pupil. Make that a little bigger. And then you color that in. And from what I've noticed, they usually draw a lot of lines in at the top, and then make the bottom more. Instead of shading, they put a lot of lines, and the bottom more clear of that. And that's a shoujo style eye. Oh, it's not really seeing in there. There we go. That's a more shoujo style eye for females, like teenage girls and stuff. For the teenage boys in shoujo style manga, it's kind of the same as the adult male, but they usually, for like, I don't know, tsundere characters or characters that are like grumpy on the outside, like, I don't know, generally grumpy on the outside but sweet on the inside, they use the type of eyes for male teenagers to be like this. It's very similar to the adult eye up there. Makes them look a little more intense, or I guess like boyish instead of the big eyes like the girl. But they do tend to have bigger irises than the adults, like that. So they would, unlike the female shoujo eye, they would actually, the circle would actually underlap into both eyelids, the top and the bottom. And they'll have a light too, but they're not as defined as the female shoujo eye. They might have a second one on the bottom right here, but they usually make them look more manly, which would have less shininess to it. And then there's a pupil underneath both of the lights. And they would generally do the weird lines, zigzags, on the same way as they did with the girl eye. And that's a female boy eye in shoujo manga that I've noticed. Maybe you'd add, since it's a, wait. Did I say female boy eye? I meant teenage boy eye. If I said female boy eye, I don't remember if I said that. Anyway, that's a teenage boy eye in shoujo manga. You'd probably make the upper lid a bit more thick. Since it is a teenager, they tend to draw them with more eyelashes than adults for some reason. But probably just to make them look younger. There we go. Let's see. Now, let's try to draw... Alright, so those are 5 different types of eyes. Actually 6, because the children's eye, I showed you both the male and female version for a child's eye on the same picture. So the children's eye, adult male eye, and adult female eye, a shoujo teen girl eye, and a shoujo teen boy eye. And generally how I draw them anyway, but also from what I've seen are the most popular art styles in manga. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. We'd love to hear from you, and see you later.